and it's time for some Horizon Zero Dawn. Today we are going to be doing the any percent category, which is obviously just speeding the game as fast as possible, starting from a completely fresh start. Because if you've seen my Horizon runs before, you will, at least in ESA wise, I have only done New Game Plus, but this time we're starting from a completely fresh start. So without further ado, let's just get into it. And time is gonna start as soon as we skip the first cutscene. So of course, if you have only seen New Game Plus, that means you probably haven't seen the childhood section, which we are gonna start out with here. Which is a bit slow and a bit of an auto-scroller, but you know, if you play well, you can actually save a lot of time here, because there's a few tricks to speed it up. So here we are. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Some kind of cake.
So as you can see here, we are immediately going ahead here as young Aloy here. And you probably already noticed that I'm rolling. That is because rolling is the fastest form of movement in this game, not only as young Aloy, but also as an adult Aloy. We're not going to be rolling all the time, because at some point we're going to get a mount, which is going to be a lot faster. So, rolling, just for you that want to have some specific stats on it, it's about 2 seconds faster for every 150 feet you travel in the game. So over the course of 2 hours, it adds up to quite a lot of time. So like I said, not really much is gonna happen here in the childhood section, but there's still some small things here to speed it up. So in this any percent run, we're going to be going through the main quest of the game, and we're not really going to do any side objectives unless it's part of our main quest. That's going to be the only thing, and of course, since we start from a fresh file, we have to build up our weapons over the course of the run, and and also because we're going to do it pretty fast, we are also going to be a bit underleveled. By the way, happy birthday, Isaac. Every time we start a new run in this category, we get to say happy birthday to Isaac. So that's always fun. He's, with all the time I reset in this game, he's quite old at this point, I would guess.
What happened to them?
So as soon as we're out of the ruins here, we're gonna meet up with Rust, and then we are gonna go for a little training session with Rust. So not really much here. We can't skip this cutscene immediately because we're fast traveling during this cutscene. So it takes a little bit before we can move.
Over here. It's called salve brush.
Gonna pick up this and then move up here. And right now, not really much is gonna be happening because we're just following Rust here. So Seth, if you have something you quickly wanna throw in here, feel free to do so right now.
Sure thing. Firma Tahide donates $75 without a comment, and putting that towards the Yakuza 3 any percent fight Superboss Joe Ammon incentive. Thank you very much for the donation.
Yeah, a thing I can just point out here while we wait for Rust here is I can see on the donation counter we are really close to 11,000. This is a pretty long run, so I'm sure you guys can make it to 11,000 before the end of this. So let's get there. As soon as this is over, we're gonna go into this bush, which is gonna start the next section, which is the stealth tutorial here. Where you're supposed to follow Rust here, but the Watchers are quite easy to avoid, so we are just not gonna follow his instructions and just move on our own here. As the subtitles disappear, you can move across here. Then you can wait in the grass here for the Watcher that is straight ahead to start moving. We still have to wait for Rust here. Like I said, it's an auto-scroller, but Rust is moving behind us at the intended way, but we can just move up here and then wait a little bit again until he catches up. So that is a little bit of the stealth tutorial here. So the childhood section also acts as a tutorial section. Of course, if this was a New Game Plus run, we wouldn't be doing this, because in New Game Plus, the game automatically skips the childhood section here. So Rust is going to catch up here, and then we can move up here and stand on the cutscene trigger.
Stay close. That herd should be
Unfortunately, again, this cutscene trigger, Rust has to catch up before it starts. And then we can start moving a bit more freely after this.
Come now. Let's find that herd. Follow.
So a funny thing here you can notice throughout the game, the dialogue doesn't really match up when you go fast in this game. Because we are gonna chase off these Stratus, but listen to Aloy here.
These are called Striders.
Why'd you chase them off?
So you can see there, Aloy doesn't really take
Show you how some machines startle
take responsibility for her own actions yet. So dialogue just doesn't match up, because normally it's Rust that scares them away, but if you go ahead before him,
You'll see.
you're the one scaring them away, but the dialogue doesn't change.
Now, I
Right
want
here
you
we're
to
gonna
find some
pick up some rocks, which we're gonna be using. It's also required.
Do as I say, Aloy,
And then we're gonna go up here to the hunting part of the tutorial here.
will do. Follow.
Right here there's actually a few small things we do here to actually save a lot of time here. So first we're just gonna roll in here, hit the cutscene trigger, throw a rock near Rust, as we're supposed to do. Then we're gonna head over here and hide behind this rock. Then we aim a rock here for a sec and then cancel the throw. The only reason why we aim that rock there is that makes the Watcher a lot more consistent at moving towards Rust. And as soon as he starts killing it, we can move down here and collect the wood before Rust finishes him off. So we can do them as soon as we are able to. Craft the arrows here, head on to this bush, and then we wait for a certain dialogue for Rust here. Then we accidentally fail the quest, but it skips a ton of dialogue actually. I think it saves like 20 seconds or something. And then we take out the Strider, like that.
You did well today, but you have much to learn. Tomorrow,
Also, fun fact, if you were to do a spear-only speedrun, which is possible of this game, that Strider right there is currently the only thing you actually have to kill using arrows. Every other enemy in this game can be killed with the spear only, if you want to. So now we just continue ahead here. It says we're leaving the quest area, but that's just because we get pretty far away from Rust. And yeah, there's a cutscene trigger up here, so it's not really going to do anything. So now we need to sneak past the Watchers here, throw a rock over there to get him to turn around. Head into this bush, and throw a rock over there to get him to turn around. Careful, the camera is a little messed up there.
I need to see their paths.
And then this one should line up, so we can just go right behind him. And we're gonna meet up with good old Tip and save his life, as he apparently can't fight off a couple of Watchers. And he's also very impressed by me moving in a straight line here. And this is gonna finish off the childhood section here. And this was actually a pretty good childhood. Time-wise, that is. I mean, to be fair, Aloy did not have the best of childhoods. There's a lot of bullying in her childhood. But if you donate to save the children, you can make sure a lot of the kids get a better childhood than she did. Anyway, so now we're in the adult section here. We're quickly going to learn 3 skills here. 2 of them is to slow down while aiming. One slows down manually when we press a button, and the other one is slowing down if we're aiming our weapon while we're in midair. And the third skill we learned there is not one we're going to use, but we need to max out that skill tree before we're out of the embrace area. And now we're going to go up here and meet up with Rust. You might have noticed there I was able to loot both of those Richwoods there without any animation. That is an animation cancel you can do if you roll and then hold your stick neutral mid-roll and then hit triangle. Aloy is gonna loot stuff like Richwood or plants and stuff like that without the animation, and it saves a couple of frames every time you do it like this. So you can see she picks it up without bending over and picking it up. So now we're gonna be heading our way to cars there. You can see we need to gather 3 blaze and 5 metal shards. So we can craft some fire arrows, which is required. And there's gonna be some Striders here. We wanna kill 3 Striders to get 3 blaze. And then we wanna kill as many Watchers as possible. Now, we need a Watcher heart in order to buy the Shadow Carja bow when we get to Meridian a little later on. So we want to see some blue drops from these watchers here. There we go, we got 2 green drops, so that's okay. We got a damage coil, and we got a tear coil. Tear coil is kind of useless, but damage is pretty good. The Stratus got scared off, so I'm gonna move this way instead. Now the Watcher Heart, in order to purchase the Shadow Cardio Bow, which is very necessary for having a good run, you need the Watcher Heart. Oh, let me loot. Thank you. That Watcher is down there, and these Stratus are... I don't like the fact that the Stratus are running off. That's gonna make this a lot harder here. Because they got scared, and I killed the first 2 Watchers. That's Watcher sneaking up behind me. I'm getting a lot of green drops, but no blue drops, so that's a bit sad. Alright, I see 2 Stratus up here. Hopefully I can get them, because this is the direction I actually need to go. I'm being attacked here, so I make sure I kill that guy, and then spear this guy down. Alright. And that was a good backup, I guess. Not the fastest way to do it, but we got it down. Unfortunately, we did not get a Watcher Heart here, so hopefully we are going to get it doing the cardio border section a little later on once we're outside the Embrace. Craft the fire arrows here, so they are ready, and then we need to head to Karst in order to buy a Tripcaster, or we actually get it for free. But we need the Tripcaster because Aloy wants it in the story. We don't need it right away for the Sawtooth fight, but we're actually gonna use it later for a pretty cool strat. So like I said, the Watcher Heart is very important to get. If you don't get it early here, you need to get it on Cardio Border, because that's the last time you will see a Watcher before Meridian. And not having a Watcher Heart, usually in world record attempts, means it's an instant reset, because the run is not necessarily over if you don't get the Watcher Heart, but it does lose you roughly a minute and a half if you don't have it. Because that bow, the Shadow Cardio Bow, is just very necessary because it gives you the hardpoint arrows, which are just way superior to regular hunter arrows. So we're gonna fast travel here and meet up with Rust, and head into the first fight that most people remember from this game, where we fight the Sawtooth.
Good night.
Obviously, gonna try my best to loot. Pick up the loot, thank you. We're gonna try our best here to loot a lot of stuff throughout the run, because we don't have any resources. So, like I said, we're starting from complete fresh, so we just have to get the resources we need here. Let's see, that Watcher is not blue, so it's not worth looting. Sometimes you can get a Watcher Heart randomly off a Watcher on the ground.
I should stay out of sight.
Alright, the Sawtooth here is actually really simple. Gonna head around this rock here. Go over here, and then we can line up fire arrow right there on his blaze canister below him. He's gonna blow up and lose a lot of damage. I'm gonna move around the back here while hitting him with the spear. And like that, he's dead. Nice and easy. And Russ gonna move away. We're gonna loot this box because we need fast travel packs. So I think throughout this run you need fast travel packs in order to fast travel, and it's just obviously a lot faster when you have fast travel packs, because things in this game are pretty far away from each other at certain points. So we need those. We don't have an unlimited fast travel pack, so we need to rely on getting them from the merchants. But there are ways to get them, because every merchant you meet, the first time you talk to a merchant, you can get a free sample box. And a free sample box is guaranteed to have a fast travel pack in it. So we're just gonna, every time we visit a merchant, we are gonna get a fast travel pack. It's guaranteed to at least one. If you get lucky, it can have two, and a lot of them probably will. But it's basically just random. So we need to fast travel a total of 16 times in this run if you want to keep track. Talk to Tep here, he's gonna give us the outfit, Aloy's iconic outfit, and the free sample box. So basically merchants probably don't like us much in this run, because we basically just go in, take the free samples and leave without paying. We're like the worst customer ever. Then we are gonna go up on this roof to get a few extra shards, which we need to buy some things. Also, Don't be low on shots, because shots are used for quite a lot. And you are not really safe on shots until you get a bit further into the run. Another free sample box from Caster. And then we're gonna head into the cutscene, meet up with Olin. So this part of the place here is just setting up the story. Not really much is gonna go on, but we're gonna head into the proving here in the very next scene here, which is one of the actually tougher part of the runs. The proving is it is difficult in New Game Plus, but it is a bit harder here in any percent because you need to nail a lot of headshots in the very last fight of the proving. But we'll get to that one into there.
There's Olin.
So of course, if you're not familiar, the story of this game is, well, it's a post-apocalyptic game, but the main story here, I'm not going to be going over everything, but the story is basically Aloy wants to find her mother and want to know why she was abandoned as a child, and that's why she pretty much does everything she does in this game, or that's her main motivation here. Now we're gonna head into the proving here, and once again another cutscene you can skip immediately because fast traveling is happening in the background. They're just using what's it called, cutscenes to cover them up. So as soon as we come into the proving here, we need to kill 2 grazers here. So we're just immediately gonna head down here to where they are, and then we're gonna do a heavy attack with the spear. And then one of the ones that are low on health, we're gonna shoot with an arrow. Oh, he flew over me. And then loot him. And then we're gonna do the same thing here. We can do it like that and hit. Oh, shoot in between the blades. There we go. Actually, fun fact, I actually discovered that was actually faster last week, this weekend when I was practicing. Because normally I would just do a heavy attack and then 2 small attacks with the spear, but turns out it's slightly faster to just shoot an arrow on the blaze, because it's enough to kill them after a heavy attack. Then we're gonna head through the proving here. We have a little shortcut in the proving to get there a little faster, which is coming up here in a bit. And then of course the proving fight where as I said, we need to hit a lot of headshots here. Because enemies will only die in 1 shot if we headshot them here.
Come on now.
We can also heavy attack them with the spear. That is also an option, but preferably headshots, because that means we don't have to get close to them in order to kill them, which is just a lot more convenient. I think you will notice here, by the way, first off, we have the shortcut coming up here, so we are just gonna run off the edge. Aim a weapon, because that slows down while we are falling, because of that skill we learned earlier. So it's easier to control your movement while falling. And now we're gonna head into the proving fight. So even though we have to hit a lot of the headshots on the enemies here, the good thing about this game is the AI of the enemies are very predictable. So they move in very specific patterns, and it makes it a little bit predictable as to where their head is gonna be. Of course, you still have to actually hit it, but if you see what animation the enemies are doing here, you can kind of figure out where their head is gonna move. So he's gonna stand still.
Too many of them. We can't win.
There we go, perfect first wave. Gonna loot here before the second wave comes.
Don't give up.
Gotta get all the loot we can. Hit that guy and then go over here. These guys are gonna stand still for a second before they jump down, so that gives us just enough time to kill them. And this guy is very slow. He's normally a lot further ahead. I'm just gonna wait for him to come over here, play it safe. So you can see they kind of stand still and freeze for a sec before they jump down, which we are gonna take full advantage of. So let's see here, we should be able, oh, yes. Dodge that guy. See if we can nail the shot on that guy, there we go. So good so far. The last wave here is a little different because there's a heavy guy with a machine gun, and we want to take him out behind this rock because there's a leader on my left here we want to jump down. Because we're behind the rock, he's always gonna jump down. 2 headshots and 2 body shots on that guy is enough to kill him. Then we're gonna pick up his gun here, finish off these guys, Nice, good proving. And the reason why we wanted the leader to jump down is because the proving doesn't end until you loot the leader after everybody is dead. So triggering him to jump down just makes it a lot easier. And so right here we are just going to meet up with Terza, who's going to do a little bit of explanation here. So not much going on. So if you want to throw in some quick donations.
Sure thing. We have a $50 donation from SlowCuber17 saying, "Good luck with the run, Elk. You're guaranteed to get Blaze Skip since Bob Ross, the Exorcist, has blessed this run."
That's right.
Also, Elk is Swedish, not Danish. We have a $30 donation from Raker7 saying, "As promised, $5 for each time Welkin messed up and for each unwanted Maximilian order. Good luck on the Horizon Zero Dawn run, Elkjaer."
Thank you. One more if you want.
All right, and $25 from Triggerino saying, "Hey Elk, wishing you all the best for your run at this early hour. I hope for a successful and enjoyable remainder of the event for you and all the other runs, staff and attendees. Also, please do tell Ted and Tab that they're good guys, just a bit misunderstood sometimes."
Nah, Teb is evil. He's gonna be the villain in Horizon 2. It's my personal fan theory. If we have time later on, I could go into detail, but trust me, Teb is evil. Can't trust that guy. He's the Jar Jar Binks of Horizon Zero Dawn. So right here, we're just gonna wait for Terza here. We're actually gonna set up a strat here on the next fight here. So when people play this game the first time, the upcoming fight here is usually the one they get stuck on for like the first time, and because there's gonna be a Corruptor there, and it's not necessarily obvious how you fight a Corruptor for many people, or at least from what I've seen. So we are gonna take advantage of how this fight works here, basically. Get it through the dialogue here. And we're gonna move ahead, and then we're gonna go in here, craft 3 blast bombs here, or not blast bombs, blast traps. Because the thing with this fight here is it's very scripted. And it just so happens that there's like a small time period before the enemies actually enter the, I guess you could call it the arena where you fight them. And we can actually use that time to set up a lot of traps that are basically gonna make this fight look really easy if it goes well. So hopefully we can pull it off here. Because like I said, the fight is very scripted, so we know exactly where the Corruptor is gonna land once he jumps in here. But first we want to place down some tripwire here. That is gonna stun all the Striders that are gonna run in. We don't need to kill any of the Striders, only the Corruptor in order to progress. The Corruptor is gonna land right here, so we're gonna plant the 3 bombs here. Then quickly roll backwards to get out of the way. And then hopefully none of the Striders are gonna hit.
Watch the Striders! It's driven them mad!
Hit the bomb, because then we can take care of him. He's still got a good amount of health, but there we go. Managed to kill him before he jumped down, and I just saw there we got a blue handling coil. So when you upgrade your weapon in this game, you use coils or modifications to upgrade your weapons, and a blue handling coil is by far the best coil you can get in the early game. That was some really good RNG here. Gonna get the free sample box, and then we're gonna learn all the skills in this skill tree. And you're gonna see what that does here, because now we're just gonna fast travel to the main Embrace gate. So if you have played this game, you might remember you need to override Strider before you can leave. But you actually don't, because if you have that entire skill tree learned, when you get to the gate here, you can just whistle for a mount. You notice the gate isn't opened, but once you jump on a mount, it's just magically gonna open for you, because the game thinks you have already overridden a mount. And that way you don't actually have to override Strider in order to progress. That's why it's important that we learn that skill early. Or fully learn that entire skill tree here. Because being able to just whistle for a mount throughout the run is just very convenient, because, like I said, the mount is the fastest way to travel throughout the game. And I was notified that before we started the run that we met the incentive for the flying mount glitch. So that's going to be fun to show off at the end or after the run. Unfortunately, it's not used in the run, but it's still a pretty cool glitch that is fairly easy to do. So I'm going to show you guys how to do it once we're done with this run. So now we are on the Cardia border section, and as I mentioned earlier, we need the Watcher Heart. I still don't have it, so gonna go a bit out of my way here to kill some extra Watchers, and hopefully one of them is gonna drop a heart. Like I said, the run doesn't die if I don't get the Watcher Heart, but it does lose a minute and a half, roughly a minute and a half if you don't have a Watcher Heart. And it's also gonna put you low on shards, because if we don't get it, we need to buy it at Meridian. And it's a bit out of the way. The merchant where you can buy a Watcher Heart. Plus it costs 200 shards, which is quite a lot here in the early game. See, there's a Watcher here. We're just gonna do a big pack, but that's a white drop. We need a blue drop. And just because you get a blue drop from a Watcher doesn't mean it is a Watcher Heart. It can drop other blue things, which is a bit annoying because sometimes you think, oh, thank God I got the Watcher Heart, and then it turns out you got trolled. Right here we are setting up the War Chief quest. This is the first part where you just have to go and investigate the battlefield here. We actually not going to do the rest of this quest. We are going to come back and do this later. So the good thing in this game is when it comes to quests, you can just do one part of the quest and then come back to it later if you want. And it really helps out a lot when you're routing this game. So a good example, if you guys are interested, you could check out a 100% run of this game, because there are certain points of that run where we have like 12 active quests at once, where we just do certain parts of the quest and then kind of chain it together throughout the run. So now we are going to head to Mother's Crown here, where we're going to talk to Maria. She's going to tell us we need to clear 2 corrupted zones in order to cross the Cardia border, because the Cardia do not want corrupted machines to go into their land. So those are like 2 technically side activities we have to do, but it's part of the main quest, so we are going to do that. So we're going to get off a mount here, because a mount cannot enter a settlement. Or they can, but it's not faster. There are ways you can get around that, and we're going to see that later. Talk to Maria here, then we're going to head over to this merchant, where we're actually going to get a bit more than the sample box. We're going to get a warbow here, because we need the electric arrows for one of the corrupted zones, and of course the free sample box to get a fast travel pack. And we're actually not going to visit 16 merchants in this run, so we also just need to pray that we get more than 2. Otherwise, if we get that unlucky that we don't have fast travel packs for the end, then we have to do a little bit of backup strats at the later part of the run. But usually you get enough fast travel packs, so it's not really a worry. Because you can also get them random from a lot of the boxes you loot throughout the game. So here's the first corrupted zone. There's going to be 3 grazers here. And grazers are very easy to kill, because if you have a fire arrow, you can just shoot their blaze canisters that they have on their back. And if you hear that little cling sound, that means you're hit correctly. That was a miss. There we go. As you can see, if you set those blaze canisters on fire, they're just going to blow up. There's another Watcher. Let's try our luck. That's another white drop, so that's not useful. There are going to be 5 more Watchers we have to kill to progress, but right here in this area it's a good way to go a little bit out of your way, and since it's a marathon, we of course want to play it a little bit safe and see if we can get a Watcher to drop. So far we are unlucky. But like I said, there's still 5 more Watchers to come. There's actually a lot up there, but you know what? I feel like going for a gamble here and just hope we get it on one of these. And there's also 2 here. Let's try luck with this guy. Nope. Good thing I didn't play the lottery today. Alright, so we're just gonna ignore them and hope that one of the Watchers here in the 2 fights we actually have to do drop on. If you already had the Watcher Heart, you didn't have to kill any extra Watchers. So technically that was a waste of time, but like I said, since it's a no reset run, we kind of have to go for it here. So we are going to use the lightning arrows here on the scrappers here, because oh, he didn't get knocked out. Got hit by the Watcher. So what you want to do is knock the striders out here, or sorry, the scrappers, because they're going to blow up if you then land these electrical arrows on the box they have on their back. And as you can see, it caused an explosion that does a lot of damage to these Watchers. Sadly, they got scattered quite a bit here. Still no Watcher Heart, so one of the last 2 Watchers have to drop it, otherwise we're not gonna have a Watcher Heart here. Where's my mom? Can you catch up? Dude here. Wait for him to catch up. The annoying thing is, when you try to whistle for a mount, if Aloy is talking, you cannot whistle for a mount. So preferably you want to whistle right before the last enemy dies of that corrupted zone, because Aloy has some dialogue after you clear the corrupted zone. So 2 more Watchers here, so we really need one of them to drop, otherwise gonna have to lose a lot of time here when we get to Meridian. So the last fight here, we're gonna have another Corruptor. This time we can't really set up for him, so we're gonna have to fight him straight on. There's also gonna be another Scrapper and 2 Watchers. So we're again gonna use the electrical arrow to cause an explosion. This one is gonna be a little easier because we don't need to hit him with the spear first, because he's gonna walk sideways towards us. So we can just hit the box right there, and that Watcher is close enough. So I don't need to worry about him. Set him on fire. Get some loot. Alright, we got the Watcher Heart. Thank God. That Watcher Heart just saved a minute and a half. Alright, so now we want to set this Corruptor on fire, because these ancient machines, which are the Corruptor here, they overheat when they are, if you set them on fire, and that's going to expose a weak spot that we can use to do a lot of damage here. So you can see he's going to overheat. You can see the kind of circles above his head. That shows he's overheating, so he exposes this core here that you can kind of shoot, which deals a lot of damage. Knock him over, and he's dead. Then you want to go down here to the gate and try to whistle for him out, so he's right behind you as soon as this is done. Alright, where's the mount? He's right here. Alright, so now we're across the Cardia border. Luckily, we did get the Watcher Heart at the last possible Watcher. So that saves quite a lot of time. So now I don't have to do any unnecessary things in Meridian. But now we're just going to be on our way to Meridian City here. So this is a bit of a long ride where nothing really happens. So Zed, if you have anything you want to throw in, then feel free.
Sure thing. There is a $10 donation from Sarn Seth saying, "Hey, just FYI, Elk's Swedish. The flag has him as Danish for some reason." Thank you for the donation. Bryce Rocker donates $40 saying, "Our pizza order got messed up tonight and I got a credit for the order. We have a newborn daughter at home, so I am passing the credit along to save the children. And to name that Final Fantasy character after the previous donation reader, Nordic Soy's favorite alias, Soil Bomb." Thank you so much for forwarding the credit. And Aquila Ezio donates $25 saying, "Hey ElkJaer, I hope you're gonna have a blast of a time. Good luck on the run. Oh, and before I forget it, happy birthday, Isaac." Thank you so much. And we are dangerously close to the $11,000 by the way.
Just $8 more. Yeah, if you have anything else, you can throw it in. It's a bit of a long ride, so if you just quickly want to throw something in.
Okay, sure thing. I want to remind everybody that you can put your donations towards any kinds of incentives or bid wars. So we have some incentives coming up. For example, the character choice for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where you can choose between Bowser, Daisy, Rosalina, Waluigi and Yoshi. Currently, Rosalina is in the lead. And if you want to see a Dancing with Shingo showcase in the game Densha the D Lightning stage, then we are currently sitting at 82 out of 300 needed dollars there. Remember, all of our donations go directly towards Save the Children, so it's a really great cause that you're donating your dollars towards too, and you're getting some great entertainment from it if you're putting them towards a donation goal.
All right, and in case somebody is confused out there, people in my community think it's funny to say I'm Swedish, just to annoy me. Just a heads up. if you're wondering about those donations. But it's nice to see a lot of people from the community donating. I really appreciate it, guys. Hope you are doing well today. Alright, so coming up here to Meridian, we are going to meet up with Aaron here, because Aloy needs to find Olin, because he was... Aloy believes he was responsible for the attack that happened during the proving, so we need to question him about why that was, and also Olin is the only lead currently that Aloy has as to the woman she thinks is her mother, which we are going to learn about a bit later here. So we are going to go down here and then jump into Meridian. Like I said, mounts cannot get into settlements. Or they can, but it's not fast, so we don't do it. It's one of the things you will see once we do the flying mount glitch here later, because we actually need it inside a settlement then. So meeting up with Aaron here, we then have to go and investigate Olin's apartment to figure out where he is, because it turns out he's not home. And before we go to the apartment, we're gonna go to a merchant, because like I said, we need to purchase the shadow cardio bow here to get access to the hardpoint arrows, which just does so much more damage than the regular arrows. So gonna do a little bit of menuing here, some bit of shopping. We're supposed to follow Aaron here, but we can just head away from him here and go straight to the merchant. Alright, so we are gonna sell all the stuff we don't need, because the bow is a bit expensive. This as well. Then we're gonna sell all the weapons, because we don't need them anymore, because we're gonna get better weapons. Get rid of the modifications here, because we don't want to fill that up. And then we go in here, buy the Shadow Hunter Bow. Then we're gonna go into resources, get a bundle of Richwood, so we don't run out of that, and the free sample box, of course. Oh, don't get stuck. And then we head to the apartment.
Not now.
Right here, we just have to do a little bit of examination here to get through this. So just gonna try move throughout the house here as fast as we can. So right here we also learned that Olin, turns out that the reason why he's holding the Eclipse that attacked us in the proving is because his family is held hostage by them. So he kinda is forced to do the things he do, I guess.
Olin knew I was targeted.
Right here we just learn of where he is, and that's gonna be the very next place we're gonna go to. Which is going to be the excavation side, so it's one of the hardest fights in the run. Alright, talk to Aaron here. Then I'm going to open the menu twice. And then we're going to quickly put on the weapon modifications. We have a damage fire and the blue handling, which is very nice. Alright. So now let's head auto here and head towards the excavation side. So also another big RNG factor of this run, or time-wise, it doesn't matter too much if you get good coils or not. The only thing that matters is it makes it a lot easier if you get good coils for your weapon. So you want to get damage and handling coils for your weapon. And we're going to get the purple handling coils from the bigger machines later. But purple is like the highest tier coil you can get, and then blue and green, where green is the lowest. So hopefully we're going to get some good RNG from those drops. Now the excavation side fight here is pretty tough, because there's going to be 2 Corruptors, and these Corruptors are actually stronger than the ones we have fought so far, because they have a bit more armor. And on top of that, there's going to be a ton of Eclipse soldiers as well. But there's a very neat strategy we can do to take care of the 2 Corruptors without firing an arrow, if it goes well. It's not a 100% strategy, but hopefully it goes well here. So we'll see what we can do. The first Corruptor is scripted to walk underneath like a trap that we can then use to kill him. But the second one is the hard one that we have to bait him into jumping into the trap, which is the hard part, and he's not guaranteed to do what you want. So let's hope he works together with us here and just commits suicide on his own. So heading into the fight here, so the first thing we're gonna see is the first Corruptor is gonna head over to this trap. It's gonna be a little bit before he gets under the trap, so we can take out one of the archers here with a precise headshot. And then we wait for the Corruptor to go underneath the trap, set it off like that, and then we're gonna be quick here. We need to stay behind this rock so we don't get spotted prematurely. Get close to the Corruptor and hope he does a tail whip. I think he did. And then stay under the trap here. I'm not sure where he is. This is not good. Comes. Okay, he kind of walked. Okay, he did not walk into the trap, so that's really bad. Now we have to kill him the normal way, which is setting him on fire to get him to expose that weak spot like the other Corruptor. But keep in mind this guy is a bit tougher. And he's also only gonna expose this for a short period of time as well, so... See, when I'm 2 nice blows, gonna be careful with my health here. And then we're gonna try to hit his weak spots here and destroy them, because that's the best amount of damage we can do. So if he had corroborated, he would have completely died to that trap, so this is not good right now. But, trying my best. Obviously just focusing on the Corruptor right now. I'm in a good spot right now because there's no other soldiers close to me. Alright, let's finish him off with a spear. Alright, now let's focus on the human enemies that are left. That guy's moving too much. These guys are really moving. This is really annoying when they start moving around because it's a lot harder to hit headshots. Like I said, our bow is still not that good, so hitting headshots is just not easy. These guys are a little easier because they tend to stay still. Like that. And this guy is very important because he's very good at hiding. I thought that was a headshot. This did not go according to plan. Hello? How did that miss? Okay, whatever. Alright, and then we talk to Olin here. So, basically the way that fight went, it did not go according to plan at all. Right here we just investigate Olin for what he knows. And also we're gonna let him live. You have the option of choosing whether he lives or dies, but it's faster to let him live because that cutscene afterwards is faster. It's only faster to kill him if you do a 100% run. Because on 100% there's a side quest where you meet up with him later, but you obviously don't have to meet up with him if he's dead. That's why on 100% it's faster to kill him. So we're gonna learn 2 more skills here. The first one is just so we can move faster when we have picked up heavy weapons. And the second one is to load in 2 arrows into a bow so we can fire 2 arrows at once. Which is very convenient. It's a nice thing in this game that you can fire multiple arrows at once, because it allows you to do a lot more damage per shot. Something that is used quite a lot if you have seen the New Game Plus speedrun. Alright, so now we're gonna meet up with Aaron here for the ambush here. We're gonna have to figure out what happened to his sister, because she was apparently murdered. Right here we need to spot where Aaron is. I don't see him. Oh, he's already fighting them, so that's pretty good. Take care of the Watcher there, using a mount. Try to hit this guy before... And I can't hit him. Aaron's gonna finish that guy. And talk to Aaron as soon as the fight is over. So it's actually pretty good he was already fighting the enemies when we got here, because sometimes he's a bit further away. It pretty much depends on how fast you did the excavation site. But I guess my excavation site in this run was so slow that he probably had already cycled through and gotten back to the enemies again. Right here we're gonna be forced off a mount because we're supposed to follow Aaron. The game doesn't want you to get too far away. So you get forced off your mount there, but you can jump back on him as soon as the dialogue is over. Then we're gonna do a quick examination here and head up to the next fight up here. Next fight up here is pretty tough as well, because again, you preferably want to hit some headshots. Especially because we do not have that great damage on our bow right now. So body shots is not really going to hurt these enemies at all. Because with the damage we have right now, I'm pretty sure we need to shoot them 3 times if we want to kill them, whereas a headshot is going to be a one-shot. And after that, what are they called? Ravagers are going to spawn in. And we're going to get knocked off again there too, because we're too far away from Aaron. Alright, so here's the fight. There's going to be 3 archers on top and 2 below here. So let's see if we can take out the 3 on top before the others get close. Again, you can kind of predict where the head is going to be. Aaron froze that last one, so that makes it a little bit easier to kill him. And that was really good shooting there. And now for the Ravager here. The Ravager has a mounted machine gun on top of it, and we want to get that, so we're going to shoot it off. Like that. 2 arrows, or 3 arrows is enough to shoot it off, because then we can use his own weapon against him to take out 1. Turn around, and this guy is coming straight at us. And there we go. That was a really good fight.
These look like Vanguard weapons. There's no blood on them.
So right there, you just used a weapon against him. You're gonna see that a couple of times in this run, where we are just gonna use weapons from the enemies to kill them. Because we are not gonna be able to farm out for really good weapons, a lot of the time it's just better to get the good weapons than you can get from the machines themselves.
Looks like you could mount some equipment on that.
Right here, we just learned that it turns out that Aaron's sister is still alive, which we are then gonna continue that part of the quest a bit later on. And right here, I'm opening the map again twice, or opening the menu twice before fast travel. The reason why I do that, in case you're wondering, is when you open the map for the first time, once you have discovered a new area, when you open the map, it does kind of like a cinematic effect and slowly shows you all the things you have discovered along your way. But if you open the map twice, it skips that animation and allows you to fast travel immediately to where you want to go. Alright, so now we're going to be on our way here to Maker's End. Maker's End here is the first place where we're going to encounter Deathbringer. And like I said earlier, we need the purple coils to modify a weapon here. We are guaranteed to get at least 12 purple drops or purple coils in this run. But like I said, we only want damage and handling coils, because those are the best damage, so we can do more damage, of course. And handling, the handling coil speeds up your reload speed and your fire rate, so it just makes you shoot a lot faster. Right here, I'm gonna go a bit to the left here to activate a campfire and then head towards Maker's End again, because we need that campfire for later. You activate campfires just by being within 50 feet of them. So that's why we need to go a little bit out of our way to activate a campfire that we're gonna use a bit later in the run here. So yeah, the Deathbringer here is gonna guarantee to drop at least 3 purple coils for us, so I would really like a damage coil, given the fact that we only have a green damage coil right now, which is not that good, especially for if we don't get anything later on in the run. So if you get really unlucky, like you can just get nothing useful with your coils. Like I said, it's not necessarily gonna lose you a lot of time to get bad coils, but it just makes it combat a lot more, or a lot easier if you have, I guess, the proper tools to work with, like the coils on your weapons. Because if you can shoot faster, it makes it easier to fire, aim, and all that, and more damage means that each shot is more effective. But if you don't get good coils, you just gotta what's it called? You just gotta make sure that that all the all your shots count. Right here, I'm gonna jump off, get to this merchant to get a free sample box and leave. Like I just said, we are the worst customer ever, because we only take the free stuff. But the merchant is right there, so we might as well get it. Like I said, we need a good amount of fast travel packs. So coming up here is the Maker's End fight. There's going to be a lot of soldiers here, and of course the Deathbringer itself. The Deathbringer is very low on health, because story-wise they have literally just dug it out of the ground. So it's not going to be tough to kill compared to the ones we see later on. So you can see right there, you can see its health bar. It's a little below half health, so we actually don't have to damage it that much. What we want to do in this fight is we want to use a fire arrows to take out the Watchers first. Because the Watchers, they die if you use 2 fire arrows on them. Because that's enough to set them on fire, and since they're corrupted, they're really weak to fire. So they just burn to death before they even get close to you. Then preferably take out the big guy in front of the Deathbringer here. And then we're gonna start focusing on the Deathbringer here before the other guys get close. Hitting the exposed weak spots. That's done, and there's 3 archers in the back here. Can't barely see his head here. It's really hard to hit these headshots when you're playing on a monitor you're not used to. And this guy is hiding, so we're just waiting for him to peek. That. And then we loot the officer here as soon as the focus spawns, like that. And now let's see what we got to work with here. Alright, we got nothing useful there. We got a free skull, which is kind of useful for later, but we didn't get anything we could use for a bow, which is the main thing we want. So we're just gonna make do with what we have. And now we're just gonna climb to the top of this tower, because we have to get to the very top in order to watch some holograms here. So yeah, not really much to say here. I'm gonna do a little quick skip here using the statue to skip 2 floors of the building. But yeah, Seth, if you have anything you want to say right here, feel free to do so while I climb up here.
Sure thing. Some guy, Taylor, has donated $20 with the comment, which I can only reflect, saying 11,000 hype. So we have officially reached $11,000, ladies and gentlemen. This donation went towards the Metroid Zero Mission 100% showcase of perfect stealth, which currently sits at $370 out of $500, so there's still plenty of time to get that.
Alright, so at the top of the Maker's Sun Tower here, there's 2 holograms, which is kind of like cutscenes. But we can't skip them, we have to watch them. So a little bit of downtime here, but we got some things we can do in the meantime, once we're up here. So this is basically just gets a lot of explanation for why the apocalypse happened. So it turns out there is this company called Pharaoh Industries, run by Ted Pharaoh, which is the guy we're gonna meet up here, and he made military robots, AI military robots, and they turned out to go rogue, and that caused the apocalypse to happen. But somehow people are still alive today, even though apparently an extinction happened. So that's where the woman that Aloy is looking for, called Elizabeth Sobek, comes into the picture. She somehow prevented the extinction. But you get to hear all about it once we get to the top here. But a fun question I always like to ask when I do these marathon runs of Horizon is, because I'm going to be looking at the chat after the run, everyone, so I can't see the chat right now, but I always like to hear some predictions. So how long do we have left before we're all killed off by AI robots? Because let's face it, it's going to happen. Post your guesses in the chat right now. Right here, we just wait for the holograms to spawn in here on the table. Gonna aim our focus right where it spawns so we can scan it immediately. And then we can get some loot while we wait.
Elizabeth, good to
listen to the holograms here.
It's been years.
Where's your legal team, Ted?
No need. I dropped all 18 lawsuits.
And also, if you want to be really scared in terms of AI robots, we all know that Boston Dynamics is a thing. But did you know there's actually one guy in the US with the actual name of Ted Pharaoh? Just keep that in mind.
I know you, Ted. You screwed something up.
Alright, so we got some stuff here. Let's see. Might as well use a health potion.
So spit
So now let's just check our inventory here. I only have one big health potion, so I definitely need to buy some from the next merchant. Because we don't want to run out of health potions, because there's a big chance we can lose a lot of health before we get to Gravelord. And Gravelord is important because we get a lot of loot at Gravelord. So once we are past Gravelord, we don't really have to worry too much about loot anymore. But until then, we still have to keep it in mind. So right here, the hologram is just playing, and then that's the first one, and then there's two more.
But they hated each other.
Of Elizabeth and Ted discussing. So a fun thing you can do up here, it turns out this pillar right here, it actually has no collision, so you can just walk into it. I don't know why they didn't give this particular thing collision, which is kind of weird given the fact that seemingly everything in this game has collision, except this pillar. So that's a thing. Also the pillar up there and there, they also don't have collision. So a little bit of an oversight. And during the last hologram here, we're gonna see an even bigger oversight with this area here that I guess the developers at Gorilla didn't think about. Yeah, we're just waiting for these guys to be done with the apocalypse. Unfortunately, we have not been able to find any way to skip these holograms. But who knows, maybe someday we'll find a way to skip them, but I have personally tried everything, and yeah, I don't really know what we can do to skip them. But maybe there's some smart guy out there that actually has an idea that works.
I'm gonna hold you to that, Ted.
Alright, last hologram is gonna spawn in here. And then we're gonna do a little bit of an exploit here while we wait on the last hologram. And this one actually saves a good amount of time.
But somehow she defeated them. The world of the old ones fell, but life went on.
So remember when I said earlier that mounts cannot go inside settlements? Well, they also can't go inside buildings. And this is a building. So you can see you can whistle up here, but the mount doesn't spawn because you're inside a building. But turns out this balcony out here does, for some reason, not count as being inside a building. So if you whistle out here, you get a mount to spawn up here. And now you have a mount up here in the office. And the reason why this is useful is because if you fast travel while on a mount, you will have that mount when you come out of the fast travel. So what we're going to do here is wait for the hologram to finish. Then we're going to talk to Silencer. And then we're going to jump on the mount before we fast travel. That way we can be on a mount as soon as we come out of the fast travel and not have to wait for one after we fast travel. Or wait for one to come around.
Your choice is what I tell them. Sign, and I'll tell them the wealthiest corporation on earth has.
So now we just wait here. We could watch the hologram, but I usually stand over here at the door because the trigger for the conversation with Silence is gonna spawn here as soon as the hologram is over. So you just want to be standing at this door while you wait. Because yeah, just waiting for the hologram to appear or disappear. Of course, I guess we could go over a bit more of the story here. So Elizabeth is going to do Project Zero Dawn, by the way, roll credits, where she somehow has a way to stop the apocalypse from happening. But obviously she needs Ted Farrer to fund it, because he has a lot of money, and it requires a lot of funding. So here we talk to Silence. And we're going to do a bit of menuing as well before we leave here. As soon as that's done, we're going to climb onto a mount here. Then we're going to learn the skill to have 3 arrows loaded into a bow. Let's loot our sample boxes there to get our fast travel packs. Then we're going to upgrade our resource pack, our health potion pack, and our arrow pouch. So we can carry more arrows, more resources, and more health potions, which just comes in very convenient throughout the run. Just gonna make it a lot easier to manage our inventory, and also being able to carry more health potions is very nice. So you're gonna notice here as soon as this loading screen is done, I'm gonna be on my mount already, instead of having to whistle for one. But of course, as soon as we come out here, there's actually a merchant right next to us, which we are gonna use to buy some things. So right here we wanna buy the blastling. That comes in handy now. And then of course the free sample box, and I was low on health potions, so let's play it safe and get 2 of those. There we go. And as you can see here now, when I craft ammo here, we can carry 30 arrows now, which just makes it a lot easier to manage our inventory for the rest of the run, or when we can carry more arrows, we don't have to craft as often. Now we're gonna head back to the War Chief here. So if you remember when we investigated the battlefield earlier, this is the rest of the quest we are gonna do now, because now it's a little bit more convenient for the route to do it right now. And this fight can be quite annoying sometimes, because there's a lot of human enemies and they move around all over the place.
The war chief stopped dressings for
Right here we just have to examine the bandages and then we can move on.
blood trail. Oh,
When it comes to those examinations, you usually only have to examine one thing in order to progress. So it's, as soon as you know which one it is, you can just examine that and ignore the rest.
her graves headed
There's only one of them, at least in that area, gives the clue as to where you need to go. So in this fight, there's going to be a lot of blaze around this, I guess, fighting arena. We're going to be fighting all these Eclipse soldiers in. And we're going to take full advantage of that, because there's a lot of enemies here we don't want to deal with, at least in close-hand combat. So if we can take them out beforehand, that would be nice. Right here we can do this. Didn't get a good card though. You can actually loot that sawtooth before you hit the cutscene trigger for it. If you just loot it from behind. Because the cutscene trigger for that is in between his legs. Now, so here's the War Chief fight. So what we are going to do here is we are going to take out one guy on the far left, and then we're going to use a lot of fire arrows to blow a lot of things up here. Which is going to take out a lot of enemies who just happen to be standing next to it. But it's important you're quick here, because otherwise the enemies have movement away from it. So I killed the guy on the far left here with a headshot, because he's really annoying, because he likes to move around and hide in very inconvenient places. Blow those 2 barrels up to get rid of the scrappers. Blow that one up to get rid of Watcher. And then these 2 Watchers, once again, since they're corrupted, they're gonna die from simply 2 fire arrows, because they're gonna burn out. And then we can deal with the rest of the guys here. There we go, and one more guy down here. Got a nice headshot. One guy across, gonna hit a bomb so he stops moving around, because it's really annoying when he moves around. And finish him on with an arrow, and that's that fight done. Of course, we talk to Sona here, and go over here and examine this. Gonna get some dialogue here. Also, fun fact here, you want to craft ammo while dialogue is going on, because when you open your weapon wheel, the game slows down. But if dialogue is going on, the game can not slow down, so it kind of cancels each other out. So if you can craft ammo while dialogue is going on, you're not going to lose any time. Right, this is done, and we can move on to the next part of the Nora section here, where we help the Nora tribe. And the next thing is the Revenge of the Nora section here, which has some interesting things about it. Because now that we have completed War Chief, the unique thing about this quest is that all the objectives for the quest have already spawned into the map, even though we haven't started the quest. So we're actually just going to go straight ahead and complete the objectives before we even start the quest here. Oh. Alright. And the first part of the quest is clearing 3 camps, where there's a lot of Eclipse soldiers. So, and the important thing with the camps here is to make sure they do not hit the alarm, because if they hit the alarm at the camps, more enemies are gonna spawn in and you have to kill them. Now, also the fact that we are doing this quest, what's it called, while we haven't started the quest, means that there's very little indication as to if we have done it correctly. So there's not going to be a quest objective that appears on the screen that tells us we have cleared the camp. We just have to know that we have killed everybody. Sometimes you can use the music to hear if the camp is cleared, but the problem is if an unnecessary enemy is also fighting you that is not part of the camp, the music is not going to stop. You know, there's the music that plays while you're in a fight. So you just kind of have to memorize all the enemies and make sure that everyone is dead. Because if you happen to leave a camp here without having cleared all of them, if you then have to go back, obviously, to clear it again. But if you then come back, all of the enemies will have spawned in again. And the reason why we do the quest like this is because it allows us to take a faster route to the camps here. So we're going to the right here on this path here. And the regular way would be going to the left, which is a bit further out the way where we would start the quest before we head to it. We're gonna activate a campfire here again by going a little bit to the left, and then we head to the camp here. So the first camp here, we're gonna just pretty much Rambo it. We wanna headshot the guy that is looking straight at us here. Like that. Then we wanna set the Watcher here on fire. Then there's a blaze barrel in the back that we're gonna blow up. We only killed one guy with it. Then take care of the other Watcher. Whistle for mount, so he's close to us once we're done. There we go. And that's the first camp done. So you can hear the music disappeared there because there was no other enemies fighting us. But that can happen sometimes at the other camps. That was a good first camp. Now on to the next one. The next one we want to be a bit more stealthy. Because this camp happens to be right over a lake. And if you fall in the water, you can't use any weapons. So it's just very frustrating if you have to move around too much in order to clear the enemies. So if they can just stay stationary, that makes it a lot easier. So we're gonna headshot the two guys here next to the alarm. This guy's gonna stand up, allowing us to shoot this barrel. Shoot the blaze backpack on that guy. Shoot this blaze barrel. Switch to bombs and head up to this hill.
Fascinating.
Then bomb this guy before he spots us. I missed.
Fire the signal!
Alright, I messed it up here. This guy is gonna walk over there. Nope. That was bad. I thought I had my arrows out there. I still had my sling out, so the explosion caused me to fall underwater. That's finished. I'm off with the spear. But yeah, the final part there messed up because I missed the bomb on that guy when I went up the hill. Otherwise it would have worked a little better. Could have stealth killed the last guys. But oh well, on to the next camp. So the last camp here, again, we want to be stealthy at the start and then we can go loud for the ending here. So there's going to be a guy right here on our left, preferably it's an easy headshot before he alerts anybody else. Now this is going to be in the way. Guy all the way in the back. And then we go loud, hit that bomb to kill that guy. Hit that. Try to hit their backpacks here so they blow up. Oh. Thought I had a bomb. And he's on fire, so we're good. So he's gonna blow up once we leave. I like that. And that's all the camps cleared. And remember, we still haven't started the quest. But the second part of the quest, for some reason, Val and Sona is gonna appear here, even though the quest hasn't started. I guess the game just thinks, oh, you cleared the camp, so Sona and Val is supposed to be here. Which allows us to go inside the Ring of Metal, even though, like I said, the quest hasn't started yet. So now we can just talk to them here, and then we head inside the Ring of Metal here. Or Denver Stadium, if you will.
Go now. We wait.
So then, Ring of Metal here is also another tough fight here. Because it has a lot of enemies, and they kind of spawn in waves. So, preferably we want to kill them while they are grouped together here.
You do have a plan, right?
So right here we're just going to load in a troubleshot to a bow, because we learned that skill earlier. Grab some ammo while Val catches up.
I do, but how would you know?
And let's get a health potion ready. You really do not want to die here in Ring of Metal. Because if you die, you're going to spawn outside at the camps again. Because since the quest hasn't started, there's no checkpoint inside the Ring of Metal. So it's important you play it safe if you feel like you're gonna mess it up here. So starting off here, there's going to be a couple enemies we can just run by, because we do not have to kill them. We only have to kill the ones that are inside the arena here. These guys we can just walk by. Hopefully they don't do too much damage to us. That would be a bit annoying. Guys didn't hit, so that's good. Alright, so now we're going to jump up here. Then there's going to be a bellow bag right in front of us. We preferably want to hit this guy so he blows up. Load in the bow. They usually shoot him twice, then jump over this beam. Careful with the health. Alright, so now that it's blown up, then we're gonna ignore him for a bit. And hopefully I can get a shot on the blaze from here. Can, nice. There's a slight angle you can hit the blaze from there, so you don't have to get really close to it. Alright, so now 2 watchers, again 2 fire arrows to get rid of those. Where's the other watcher? I am not sure where he is. Alright. Now let's get the bellow bag to come towards us while we hit the remaining of this blaze canister here. Oh, that was a little scary. Because we want this to blow up right next to all the enemies here. Like that. Then that explosion is gonna take out all the enemies here. And then the next wave is gonna spawn in. They're gonna spawn over here to the left. Apparently. Hit that guy. Like I said, you want to be quick here before the enemies start scattering around, because you can see they're kind of grouped together here, which just makes it so much more convenient to deal with them. No guy there left. Good. Let's shoot this barrel. Hopefully take someone out. Did not. I'm a little slow here, so you can see the enemies start moving away from each other. If they're grouped together, you can kill multiple with these bombs. So it's really important that you are quick at switching between these between the waves, because then you can kill them while they're grouped up. Because they scatter around due to the Nora tribe that's trying to help you, even though they don't really do much. They're actually quite useless. Alright, that's that. Again, open the map twice, and then we fast roll out of there. So that's Ring of Metal done. That did not go that well, but oh well. A couple of things has not gone that well in the run, but I would only say a couple of things. A lot of things have gone pretty well, so we'll see. Gonna use my potion here just to fully heal. Then we're gonna whistle for a mount and head up this hill, and this is actually where you start the Revenge of the Nora quest, because you still have to start the quest. Now we save at the campfire to start the quest, go through the cutscene, and because we have already completed all the objectives, as soon as the quest is started, the quest is also gonna complete, because all the objectives have been cleared. You still have to start the quest, because otherwise the game is just gonna soft log later. Because the game is programmed pretty tightly that you cannot really skip any quest in the game, because they're tied together. So if one has not been started and finished, it's not gonna start the next one.
Here we go again.
Now we're gonna head to Gravelord here. Again, this is a little bit of a short ride here, so I don't really have much to say. So, Seth, if you have anything you want to say?
Sure thing. We have 2 anonymous donations, both of $10 without a comment. One sends the $10 towards the Metroid Zero mission showcase of perfect stealth, and the other one towards the Astral Chain 80% run. Character name, calling it NepNep. Thank you so much for your donations. Remember, we're raising funds for Save the Children. And as the global leaders in family reunification, Save the Children's teams have always been reuniting children separated from their families in every major humanitarian crisis. It's too early in the morning, since World War I. Thank you so much for the donations. You know, it's a really good cause. Keep them in. We've reached 11,000, but we can go further.
Yeah, let's just use the fact that it's really early in the morning to blame everything that happens on that. Use it as an excuse. But yeah, coming up here to the Gravelord here is where we're gonna have another fight. This time we're gonna fight another Deathbringer, so again, because my coils are still pretty bad, if you remember, on my bow. This Deathbringer is also gonna drop 3 purple coils, so hopefully I would really like a damage coil. Just gonna make a quick visit to this merchant here. Get the box. And because that's just gonna make it so much easier to kill things once you have a little bit of coils to work with. So a damage coil would be nice. What you want to work towards is having 2 damage coils and 1 handling coil, purple. That's like the best setup you can have, or that's my preferred one.
They're inside too.
But sometimes, or most runs, you don't get that good RNG on that, so you just have to use what you get. So sometimes it's all damage, or sometimes it's maybe 2 handling or something like that. So you just work with what you get in this run. This run does have a good amount more RNG compared to the New Game Plus runs, so if you are thinking about speedrunning this game, but you prefer something that doesn't have too much RNG, New Game Plus is way different. You cannot blame the game for anything pretty much in New Game Plus. Pretty much any mistake you make in that, it's gonna be your own fault. It's very light on RNG. But any percent is a different story. This things kinda have to go your way in certain places if you wanna get a really good time. But like I said, if you play well, you're still gonna be able to do just fine. It just means it's gonna be a bit harder if you don't get what you need. By the way, those puzzles, normally you have to scan the things on the wall to get a clue for the answer. But we already know the answer, so we can just plug it in. It's the same answer every time. Alright, a lot of enemies in this room. We do not have to kill any of them. We can simply move past them. And fun fact, they do not notice you until Aloy's dialogue is over. That's why you can get almost halfway through the room before they start attacking. Because for some reason they do not start until Aloy's dialogue is done. Alright, coming up here, normally there's another hologram here where Silence and Aloy talks. But this time we can actually skip it. Because this is not a normal hologram, this is a conversation with Silence. So picking up this power cell stops the conversation and unlocks the door early into this fight. So just picking up the power cell right there saves like 40 seconds. Because you don't have to listen to the entire dialogue. And here's the Deathbringer fight. There's a lot of human enemies here, so we just want to take out the 2 archers on top here before we head down. And now a thing we really want to see is the 2 guys next to the Deathbringer. We want them to be right next to him. That would be the best scenario. One of them is kind of close, because then when he blows up, because remember, just like the Corruptor, the Deathbringer is also prone to overheating, which is going to expose a lot of weak spots. Don't get too close to him, because that flamethrower does a ton of damage. Alright, he dropped the gun, that's good. Because getting that explosion from the guy we just blew up. Oh. One sec. And it's gonna make him overheat, hopefully. Let's save and just heal a little bit here. Alright, should be good. Alright, he's dead. So right there, again, we shoot off his weapon to use it against him. Sorry I went quiet there. Was a little bit worried I was gonna die. But yeah, we shoot off the weapon again, and the reason why he exposed his knees there was probably because of that explosion from the guy with the blaze backpack that exploded next to him. So if you can get one of those guys to get close to him, then we can get him to blow up, and that causes the Deathbringer to overheat a little bit earlier, exposing some of the weak spots we can use to damage him. Also right here, there's another hologram we have to watch. But fun fact about holograms, you do not have to be in the room for the hologram to play. And this is actually important, so remember this for later. because it's going to be a lot more important later here. So this is why we can get a lot of loot here at Gravelord, is because while the hologram is playing, we can just go in here and pick everything up. We have plenty of time to do it while the hologram plays. So we get a lot of medicine here and a lot of stuff from the boxes scattered throughout here. And we also have time to loot the Deathbringer here to see if we get anything useful for a weapon. Heal ourselves up here. Alright, so let's see. Please give me something useful. Okay, he gave me a handling curl. I can load that. And a fire curl. No damage, unfortunately, so we're not gonna do any damage at all. But handling at least, so we can shoot a bit faster. There's still chances to get some damage curl later, but usually at Gravelord you preferably want to have them, because it's gonna be a while until we get more purple coils.
The top secret super weapons program that will save us.
But at the same time, the coils are not really gonna play that much of a factor until we are at the very end of the game.
The file I'm sending contains the war plan.
So now we just wait for the hologram to finish here. Because like I said, it's been playing the whole time. We do not have to be in the room. So let me just get some water.
Ugly, but it's something. Consider the alternative. Dr. Sobek.
And now we're gonna go into what I usually call the second half of the run. The first half is usually a lot longer, time-wise, but I usually just consider after you finish Gravelord, then the second half of the run kind of starts. Where you start fast traveling from place to place all over the map, because then things are not really close together anymore, and yeah. So the second half of the run just feels different in that regard.
What did these people do? Now
Silence here, and normally you have to go down this zip line in order to be able to fast travel, but if you just go to the edge here and open the map, you can fast travel right away and without going down the zip line. Boxes here to make sure we get that, and of course put on the handling coil we just got. So now our bow is going to be able to shoot pretty fast, but it's not going to be able to do that much damage. But like I said, we still have some chances to get some damage coil later. Damage is just very important for the end game, because there's two fights at the very end that you really want to be able to do some damage. So now we're heading back to Meridian here, because we need to talk to the Sun King. This is to set up a quest called Into the Borderlands. Which is, again, continues the story of Erend. So the thing here is the Horizon quest line is kind of split into three parts. There's one where you help the Nord tribe, there's one where you learn about the past, and then there's this quest line where you figure out what happened to Erend's sister. They have to go here and then follow Marad up to the Sun King. And then we are gonna ask him about some stuff. Again, you do not have to actually follow Marad, you can just walk ahead and wait for him at the end, like we've been doing a couple of times in this run. Except this time it's a little funnier, because Avad and the Sun King Avad and Erend is already here, and they're just gonna stare blankly out into the air until Marad gets here. So, yeah, it's a little bit creepy. I'm not sure what they're doing. They're probably just standing there thinking about, you know, where the time went. Thinking about all the old friends they had. I'm not quite sure what they're actually thinking about, so. And you can see up there on the navigation bar that Marad is coming. And as soon as Marad comes, then the cutscene starts. But it's a bit weird, there's no cutscene trigger here, so we just kind of awkwardly stand here. Talk to him like that, and then we leave here. Then we're gonna see we have 7 fast travel packs. That's really good. Because, yeah, there's only 7 fast travels left in the run. Yeah. So that means we can skip 2 of the merchants here for the end of the run. So normally I would visit 3 more merchants. One of them is actually here on the way to the next thing, which is the Eclipse base. But because I already have 7 fast travel packs, I've gotten pretty good RNG in terms of getting the fast travel packs, I can just skip that merchant and go straight to Eclipse Base. And the same with the one later on in Borderlands, I do not need to visit. I'm only gonna visit the one at Sunfall, but that guy we need to visit anyway, because we need to buy a weapon from him. So now, on the way to Eclipse Base here, there's an important little thing we have to go through, because the enemies are scripted on this path. So once we turn the corner here, we have to watch what the machines are doing. So you can see there's a Ravager down there. He's not moving, so that means we have to then watch the bellowbacks. And the bellowbacks are far off to the right, so they're probably... Okay, one of them is coming close, so he's probably definitely gonna spot us when we cross these bridges. The reason why this is important is because there's another Ravager next to the second bridge here, and if we get spotted early, he might be right next to the bridge. But I think I got spotted so early that he was not close to the bridge and I could just cross it. Sometimes you then have to read if the Ravager is gonna jump at you and attack you, or if you can safely cross the bridge. And that time we could safely cross it, so it's important you can read the enemies like that and know what to do.
Wind's ripping me.
So Eclipse Base here is pretty much just a movement-based split. We actually don't have to kill anybody, because the one fight that you are kind of forced to do in this area, we actually have a skip to skip that fight completely. So Eclipse Base has a couple of skips here we can do to get through it a little bit quicker than what the intended way is. Coming up here on this road right here, you're gonna see there's a merchant on the right. If I was low on the fast travel packs, I would visit him, but since I'm not, I can just go right by him. There's no need to get the free sample box there, because I already have everything I need.
Who put those there,
I'm guaranteed to get everything I need, in other words.
Right. Why would I expect an answer? It's so much more exciting to keep it on a mystery.
And jump on my mount, off my mount, and climb up here to start the quest.
We're gonna do that. Oh wait, I forgot.
So first, you have in this quest you have to kind of sneak by a lot of corrupted machines. But we're actually just gonna run straight through them, because it's obviously faster than doing any stealth. And just hopefully avoid them here. And then the first skip is coming up right here next to the second of the long legs up here. Probably the long leg. Yeah, the long leg is going off to the right. But there's a branch here on the rock we can use to jump on to get up here, instead of having to take the intended climbing path you normally have to take. So that branch has like a small hitbox you can just kind of jump on to get up here. And then right here, go through the scrappers. If you can, go behind their back, preferably, so they don't try to attack you. And here comes the gate clip here, or the gate skip, not gate clip. Okay, I didn't kill that guy, it doesn't matter.
The ground here looks turned up.
So you can just jump across this gate.
The gate's barred.
So that skip there is a little bit more precise in terms of what you need to jump on there, because you have to jump on the torch and everything, and jump up the gate. But with the precise jumping there, you can just jump on it like that and skip that entire fight. Of course, climb up to the tall neck here, and then we're gonna have a little chase sequence where we have to escape the Eclipse Base. And there's one more skip we actually need to get here, known as Rock Skip. So let's hope I get Rock Skip here on the escape. Most important skip to get in Eclipse Base. Trying to cut corners here so we can get through this as fast as possible. And now let's see here if we get Rock Skip. We did get Rock Skip, nice. Okay, so to be perfectly honest, Rock Skip is kind of a meme, because one time and one time only, I have lost a run because a rock that fell down landed perfectly on top of me, so I couldn't move and soft locked the game. And since then, it's been kind of a meme to just say Rock Skip whenever that doesn't happen. Like I said, only run ever has it happen in, so it's just a little fun thing to point out.
Bridge in sight.
And as soon as we're done here, we're then gonna skip cutscene, wait a little bit before you fast travel. And then we go to the campfire we activated when we are on our way to Maker's End. Because now we're gonna head into Sunfall and into Zero Dawn. And inside Zero Dawn, we are going to do a lot of skips here, and then we have a very interesting glitch we are going to pull off here in the run. Actually, the newest addition to the run in terms of skips is here in Zero Dawn. But if you want to throw in a quick donation or something before we get there, then feel free to do so, Seth.
Alrighty, we have a $20 donation from Everyday Aussie without a comment. Thank you very much. And Tipun Muna donates $75 saying, "Love Horizon, fell for my girlfriend while we were playing this game. P.S. Screw Ted Farrow."
Yes, screw Ted Farrow. And also shout outs to Everyday Aussie, because he was the guy that had the world record when I started running this game, and I actually learned the run off of watching his runs. So shout out to Aussie. A really good run of the game. Sadly, he doesn't really run the game anymore because for some reason he started doing Borderlands runs instead. Sadly. But oh well. Right here we're gonna buy the free sling and then get a free sample box. We need the free sling for some of the fights coming up here. So yeah, I mean, the new skip here inside Zero Dawn, actually a fun story about that. So a new runner recently started running the game called Wired Notes. He's been doing a lot of Gravity Rush speedruns as well. And he found a skip inside Zero Dawn, a very simple skip where you jump on a wall to skip a fight. Or basically a simple skip, because you just jump up some hitboxes in order to skip a fight. But then when I was testing that skip to just, you know, learn it and stuff, I then quickly realized that it actually causes the game to glitch out a little bit. It's kind of interesting. And it turned out to save a lot more time than we initially thought because of the bug that happens. I'm going to explain it when we get to it, but you will see. If you don't know the game, it might be a little hard to understand what it skips, but I'm going to try my best to... what's it called? Explain it as best as I can.
I won't tolerate whining. Is that clear?
You'll tolerate what I
Right here, we just wait for Silence to get through the dialogue.
You along for the ride.
But Zero Dawn here is a very hard split on the run. It's actually a pretty big run killer, or it has been for a while. Because of the new skip, because even though I said it's kind of simple to do, the jump up the wall, or the skip in itself seems simple, but it's very precise what you need to jump on in order to do it. So it's very easy to mess it up and lose a lot of time here if you don't really get it on the first try. And also, there's a couple of enemies here and a couple of other skips. Zero Dawn is basically probably the split that just has the most skips to it. Where each one of them, if you don't do it correctly, you have to do them over, and it can easily lose you a lot of time. Alright, so coming up here, we're just going to get past these guys. We don't have to kill these guys. And then in the next room, there's going to be 3 guys with... some kind of fire cannons that are gonna shoot at us. And this is where the... I just remembered I didn't put on my freeze coil. There we go. Doesn't matter when I put it on, I just need to put it on before the fight, in terms of time. So yeah, there are 3 guys here. We're gonna freeze the 2 of them that are right in front of us, and then kill one of them to pick up the gun they are using and use it against them. What? He didn't freeze. There we go. Triple shot headshot is enough to kill him when he's frozen, because human enemies take more damage while they're frozen. And then we use the fire gun to kill off these guys as well. There we go. And coming up here is the first skip. So inside here there's 2 puzzles you have to do. You only need to do one of them, because we can glitch Aloy through the floor there and pick up the emitter here to repair the second puzzle without having to complete the first puzzle. And then the next thing here we're gonna do is the very skip I was talking about that Wired Notes found. It's inside the next room here. So one thing you wanna pay attention to here to understand the skip is pay attention to the quest objective that says Deep Secrets of the Earth, and the objective below it. Alright, so we're gonna go past these guys and then do the skip here. We're gonna go over here and then very small hitboxes we have to jump on here. Alright, turn the camera, and first try, nice, that was really good. Trust me, it's a lot more precise. Now pay attention to the quest objective. It says kill the eclipse. Right here, there's the second skip we need to do. Again, abusing the hitboxes here to skip this entire room, because we just dropped down to the door. Now, the thing here that's happening right now, it still says I need to kill the eclipse even though I'm way past him. But the game hasn't figured out that we have went past him yet, so the game technically thinks I'm still fighting those guys. And that's why the quest objective doesn't change. Even when I come up here to the end here, because inside this room is the end trigger for the quest, the game is still gonna say the quest objective like it does now when we get to the next part. Gonna loot this box because it has a lot of health potions. Alright, so now I ended the Zero Dawn quest, but as you will see here once we get into the next fight, the quest objective will still think we're inside Zero Dawn and we're not progressed yet, even though the game is technically continuing. So this is the thing I realized when I was practicing the skip, that we actually could use this to our advantage here. So right here we have to fight off this behemoth here, and pay attention to the quest objective. It still says we are inside Zero Dawn, because it says Deep Secrets of the Earth and kill the eclipse. So right here we need to lure this guy into hitting these towers here to bring down the platform. And a really cool thing is gonna happen here because of this glitch, because the game is very confused right now. So I'm gonna hit behind this, and he's gonna stomp it, like that. And now pay attention to the platform that collapses. You see, there's two platforms. One is collapsing, the other one is staying up there. So the game is really confused right now as to what is going on, because it's progressing the game, but it still thinks we're inside Zero Dawn. You can see the platform collapsed, but in this shot it's still there. So there's like two of them. And we'll get to why it saves time here in a sec. After we kill the behemoth, because it's after the behemoth fight it actually is gonna save time. Alright, so now before he gets close to us, let's load in a triple shot and start firing him with the freeze bombs, because we want to freeze this guy to kill him. Oh, I am getting bullied here. Also, the fun fact about this fight, it doesn't necessarily matter how fast you kill this guy. What matters is if you hit the correct cycle here. If you're really into speedrunning, you've probably heard about frame rules before. Kind of a similar concept, except this works with the music. Because it doesn't matter how fast you kill this guy, you just have to reach the fastest cycle. And it's on an increment of 10 seconds, so it's very important you kill him fast enough. So like that, there we go, that was a decent fast cycle. Because the cutscene after the fight doesn't start until a certain point in the music, which happens every 10 seconds. And that's why you can think of it like a frame rule kind of way. Because it doesn't matter how fast you do it, you just need to hit the cycle. Alright, so here comes the thing that saves time. So the next quest, we have to go back to the Embrace to help the Nord tribe, because they're being invaded by the Eclipse. But because the game still thinks we're inside Zero Dawn, we can fast travel inside the Embrace. Normally during this quest, you cannot fast travel inside the Embrace. But now we can, because the game technically still thinks we're inside Zero Dawn. Normally you would have to travel outside the Embrace and right through the entire Embrace, but because of this glitch, we're now in the middle of the Embrace. But of course the quest hasn't started yet, so we need to restart from save, which then gets rid of the glitch and spawns in all the enemies while we're inside the Embrace. So that's why it saves a lot of time, as you will see here when the loading screen here is over. So that also means while this glitch is active, you cannot die or restart from save, because if you do that, the glitch goes away. So now this quest, we just have to run through all these enemies. We do not have to kill these guys, but there's a big Thunderjaw here, the iconic machine of Horizon we have to kill up here. Let's make sure we have our health potions ready. And this fight up here is also quite a lot easier than you probably would expect, because the game conveniently places 2 machine guns on the floor that we can use here. One thing I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna shoot the Thunderjaw to make him start attacking me, because that starts the cutscene a little faster. Pick up the gun, because the gun carries through the cutscene, and then start firing at him. Preferably I want to try to hit his neck area unless he's standing sideways, but he's not. So I'm gonna try to just fire away at his neck area here, and the second machine gun is right here, because that's where he doesn't have any armor plates. If he was standing sideways, I could get some shots directly into his heart, but he wasn't, so I just gonna have to try and hit his neck and then clear off these Eclipse soldiers.
Finish them!
Where's the last guy? Oh, nice one tap on the last guy. Gonna loot the Thunderjaw now. Oh, we got a damage coil, nice. Gonna make the end game a lot easier. And then of course we have to talk to Val. So whenever you want to shoot at an enemy, and let's say you don't really want to necessarily go for one of its weak spots, you want to hit the enemies where they don't have armor plating, because that way you can do a lot more damage and not just waste your ammunition. Right here I'm gonna hug the right side, because then Resh is gonna talk instead of Tep. And the matriarchs here are only gonna turn around once dialogue is over. And Resh's dialogue is way faster than Tep's, so it's important you hug the right side going down that corridor to get the fastest dialogue. And now we're inside All Mother here,
I never stopped.
where Aloy finally figures out that turns out she doesn't have a mother, because she was born by artificial birth. Or even though you could technically say Elizabeth Sobek is a mother, even though she's more of a clone, I guess. But I'm not quite sure, like, if you're like a clone of someone, does that make that person your mom? I don't know. I don't want to answer that philosophical question. That is something people can debate, I guess. And then we're gonna leave here, because now we know the next place we need to go to. That's the Thunderjaw quest done here, or the All Mother quest.
Going to be interesting.
And the thing here is, once you need to leave here, you have to get out of the cave here before you can leave. You cannot fast travel before you're outside for some reason. There's actually a lot of dialogue you can go through there if you want to.
You can do anything. Even
So if you want to get a lot of lore, that is the place to get it. As soon as we're outside, we're gonna fast travel all the way over here next to this hunting ground. Damage coil. And it's very nice we get a damage coil here, because the next quest you want to be able to do a good amount of damage, so you can one-shot these enemies here. Because the next quest coming up is the one called Borderlands, or Into the Borderlands, which we visit the Sun King for. Alright. Got a mount here to catch up. And then we have a little bit of a ride before we get to Borderlands. So, again here, during the later part of the run, there's a bit travel distance between places. So I don't know if you have anything you want to throw in here, Seth, because otherwise I'm just going to keep talking.
Indeed, we have something. Cherrygon has donated $30, saying, "Shout out to the 3 guys in the crowd. My daughter is playing this game right now, but she will be watching the VOD and wanted to donate. So call her out, please. Madeleine or Madeline." And Gronbeck donated $30, saying, "Keep on keeping on." Thank you very much.
I will. Yeah, shout outs to everyone in the crowd, because this is pretty early for everyone. So, yeah, thanks for being here. So yeah, Borderlands quest here, there's not really that much to it. Preferably, there's one big fight we have to do with a lot of enemies. Right here, there's a Ravager. You want to bump into him when he's staring you down like that. So here's some tips when you're traveling across the world. when especially Ravagers and Sawtooths like that, if they are looking at you straight on like that, you want to bump into them. Because when you bump into them, they're going to stagger for a bit. It gives you enough time to go away before they launch an attack. So when you see them standing like that, you definitely want to bump them in order to make sure they're not going to hit you. Otherwise, if they're standing sideways, then always go behind their back. And if they have their back turned, then just go right by them. Usually they don't have time to attack you immediately, as they spot you way too late. So here in Pittscliff, it's where we're gonna meet up with Aaron and figure out where Dervil's hideout is. Turns out Dervil is the guy that has captured Aaron's sister. By the way, I know I've done a very poor job of explaining the story, but there's a lot to it, so please bear with me. And if you haven't played this game, I'd totally recommend you play it if you have a PS4. Or you could wait for the PC release, because there's a big rumor going on right now that Sony is going to release this on PC. So that might be a thing. But like I said, it's still a rumor, nothing official. But a quite substantial rumor nonetheless, if you want to try this out on PC. Keep that in mind. Also, we probably are going to see this game get some sort of an upgrade with the PS5, I'd imagine. Also, a lot of people think the sequel is going to be a launch title for PS5. So that means, if that's true, we will play Horizon Zero Dawn 2, or whatever the name will be, less than a year. Alright, so coming up here for the Borderlands fight. Like I said, there's a lot of human enemies here, and preferably we want to be as stealthy as possible. Because when it comes to human enemies, it's a lot easier when they're stationary or just doing the normal patrol. Because then you know exactly where they're going to be. So if you alert them, they're just going to start moving all over the place, and you don't want that. That gets kind of messy. So if we can kill them all without being alerted, that would be the best. But of course, since our weapons are weak, we definitely need headshots here. There's going to be 2 on the tower here. Those are easy enough to kill. Then one guy's going to come across here. Kill that guy. Then a girl on the left. Then hit a bit further in. Get behind cover before you shoot this guy. The tower. This guy's going to most likely look straight at you. He didn't, so if he does, you have to be a little bit quicker. Kill those 2 in front of you, then the girl in the hut. Then this girl right here is gonna start spotting you. And now we're gonna get alerted, but we have already killed a lot of people here, so... Oops. This guy has a ton of health, so trying to headshots. Seal up, make sure he doesn't hit the final blow. One thing you can do to make this easier if you do get alerted is use bombs to get these guys to fall on the ground, because then they're pretty stationary while you go for the headshots. See if we can get 2 for 1. Nice, we can. You could also use the spear to knock them on the ground like that. And one more enemy is going to come through the store in a cutscene, so we skip that. Like I said, they're easier to, or you do more damage when they're frozen, so we freeze this guy to hit 2 triple headshots on him. That should be enough to kill him.
Stay put until I find a way past it.
And then we can head down here and find Aaron's sister. Also, this box has Carlton, as you can see, but nothing was useful there, so we're not gonna get anything. Then open the map twice. Accidentally did it 3 times there. Alright, so on we go to next thing, which is Gaia Prime.
Talk's attacking. I better see if I can help.
Have my mount ready in my quick menu. And the quick menu in the bottom left is where you whistle for mount and stuff. But if you didn't have it ready, normally I just press down, because usually I set it up, but I kind of forgot, so a little bit of a mistake. But that happens a lot. You just need to try to memorize after each quest to set it back to the mount instead of a health potion or something like that, so you can get a mount as soon as possible. And now we're gonna be on our way to Gaia Prime here, which used to be a really boring split back when I did my first ESA run. But it has changed quite a lot since then. But if you quickly want to throw something in here before we get there, because this might be the last time we have to have some donations in this run, or whatever.
All right, thank you so much. We have a $40 anonymous donation without a comment, sending this towards the Limbo Hard Drew Blindfolded incentive, which currently sits at $250 out of $700. So if you want to see me put a blindfold on during my run, donate towards that incentive. Thank you so much.
That sounds like a pretty cool incentive. Oh. I just noticed the big screen here in ESA went black. Oh, it's back now. I'm not sure what happened. I was just afraid if the stream went down as well, but I think we're good. For sure tech has everything under control. Anyway, so now we're gonna come up to Gaia Prime here. So there's two parts to Gaia Prime. First we have to climb up the mountain, where there's gonna be a ton of enemies there. But you don't have to kill anybody, we just have to make our way past them. But preferably we want to do that without taking too much damage, so we can have as many health potions as possible for the end game. Because end game we always take a lot of damage. First we are just gonna get a little alternative route up the mountain here instead of using the intended climbing spots. Because the thing is, in this game, climbing spots, Aloy's climbing animations are quite slow, so whenever you have a chance to skip them, you probably want to skip them. Head behind the stalker here. Always when you try to go past the machine and you don't want to kill it, go behind its back. That way it has to turn around before it starts attacking. Just a pro tip. And the stalkers can still hit us because they kind of have some snipers here. As you can see, they're starting to shoot at us. Excuse me. While we climb up here, but I think we're good. They might still hit us here. I think we're good.
Do they think we're guarding Gaia?
So here's the second part here of the machines here. Now there's going to be a lot of Glinthawks here. You want to be really fast here because you don't want the Glinthawks to start attacking you. Because we're going to run up the side of the mountain here, and if you get hit by any attacks here, by the Glinthawks, you're most likely going to fall pretty far down and have to climb again. So you want to go quickly here to make sure they don't get a chance to hit you. Oh, see there, the ice they throw at you can kind of push you off. So gotta be careful here. And then hit the cutscene trigger here. For the Stormbird, whistle before the dialogue starts, so you get a mount as fast as possible. Go. Right now there's a Stormbird above me. He's most likely going to try to hit us, but hopefully he will not. And my last couple of runs, I'm pretty sure he hit me every single time, so hopefully he's going to be nice this time around. I think we're good. Alright, so now we go into the second part, which is probably known as, some people would say, the boring part of the speedrun. Or it used to be, because, like I said, back when I last did, on my first ESA run, this used to be a very boring split because there's just two holograms you have to watch and travel between them inside here. There's nothing else really. But fun fact, pretty much a week after I did my first ESA run, after I talked about how boring it was, we found out a way to speed it up by abusing all the checkpoints in there. And then later on, we found an even faster way to speed it up. So now it's a little bit more interesting because we're gonna use the checkpoint system here to speed up these holograms. We technically still have to watch both of them, but we're gonna do things while they're playing, or at least for the first one. So first we have to get to the first hologram here, so we're just gonna move throughout the wreckage of Gaia Prime here. So the explosion happened here. So the way this works is, or the reason why this used to be a big trouble, we had known for a while a way to get to the second hologram early, but we didn't have a way of using that because, what's it called? because after both of the holograms, you need to talk to Silence right after at the hologram's location, which prevented it from being useful to go to the other holograms early or something like that. But we found a way to work around it. So we still have to go to the first hologram here, but then we're gonna go to the second hologram once the first one is or while the first one is playing. So when you remember back at Gravelord, I said it's important to remember you don't need to be in the room while the hologram is playing. But now the first hologram is playing. So now technically we don't have to worry too much about how quickly we go, because now we just need to reach the second hologram before the first one ends. That's the important thing, and if you do it well enough, you're gonna be there pretty quickly, but there's a pretty hard skip you have to do to get to the second hologram, so that's the thing you have to be careful with. But like I said, you can probably fail it like 3 times and still make it, because all that matters is that you get to the second hologram before the first one, because that's gonna set up some checkpoints that we're gonna use. But that's why I still want to try to go somewhat fast here, in case I'm not going to be able to pull off the skip. But we'll see here. So coming up here, now we're back at the very beginning of Gaia Prime here, where we entered. So we're going to use the scenery here. So let me just explain it since I have time. You can see here's the climbing spots. It's just out of reach. This is where you climb down after you watch the second hologram. And it's just out of reach. So we need to get up high in order to reach it. So we're gonna use the scenery here. Gonna get a running jump backwards here. To get onto this pillar. Then jump up here. Then this pillar. Then get onto this plating here. Walk to the edge so you can get some momentum jumping up here. And then you jump over here, and then she's gonna grab onto the climbing spot. You might notice I'm a bit low on health right here, but that's not gonna matter because we're gonna restart from save. And when you restart from save, you get all your health back. So the first hologram is still playing. We can't hear it. Or we can hear the music, but we can't hear the dialogue going on. And now we're gonna go up here where the second hologram is and start it. So in here is the second hologram. We're just gonna activate it.
Rushed in from this side.
And now we just have to wait for the first one to end. And the way we know the first one has ended is to look again at the quest objective where it says view the hologram. As soon as that gets crossed out, we restart from save. So because when the first hologram ends, it's going to change the quest objective, which then sets your checkpoint back at the first hologram. So now we're just waiting for that to happen here. Because the first hologram is playing, and then you need to talk to Silence. So the next objective is going to be to talk to Silence. And the checkpoint for that objective just happens to be right next to Silence. You see, it's crossed out, so we restart from save. That's going to place us back at the first hologram. Now we just need this loading screen to pass. There's Silence, and the first hologram is over. We go for his dialogue here. And then we're going to restart from save again, because the second hologram is active. So as soon as you talk to Silence, then the objective is then going to set itself to watch the second hologram. And that the checkpoint for that quest objective is, of course, right next to the second hologram, which we then have to watch. And that's how we skip a lot of Gaia Prime here. So in case you don't understand why this save time is because we didn't go from the first hologram to the second hologram while we are technically watching the first hologram. So so instead of having to waste, I think it takes about 45 to 50 seconds to move between the two, the intended way, we instead do that while the first hologram is playing anyway. So we just wait for that. Also, we can go out here and pick up some loot while we wait. We got a health potion. That's nice. Now let's set up our weapons here for the end game, because that is coming up right after this, because we only have 2 more quests left to go, but of course the last quest is the longest quest in the game. And we still have to watch the second hologram, unfortunately. It doesn't skip both of them, but it does speed up Gaia Prime quite significantly. Like, on its own, that entire skip saves, like I said, probably 50 seconds. And yeah, we actually found it right after ESA because I was complaining about it during my first ESA run about how boring Gaia Prime was. And then Ossie was the one that found a way to abuse the checkpoint system in a different way than I'm doing here. And then a week or two after we had found that, I happened to find the way we are doing it now by accident. So what happened was I was on world record pace in the New Game Plus speedrun, and while traveling between the holograms, I accidentally died on the old strat. And I thought I had lost the run because I messed up the strat. But it turned out that because of the checkpoints, it actually I think I actually saved like 30 seconds because I died by accident. And I still got world record because of it in that category. And then we found a way that just so happened the checkpoints were where we could have used the checkpoints even more. Of course, we didn't then realized, of course, we didn't have to die. We could just restart from save because that's faster. And now we picked up the Master Override because Ted is done with his TED Talk after he killed all the guys there. By the way, people really don't like Ted Farrer in this.
Try not to fall to your death.
I would recommend a subreddit dedicated to hating Ted Farrer. Yes, that's an actual thing. I'm sure you can find it if you look for it. So now we just need to leave here. We need to talk to Silence before we leave. He's going to give us a bit of a stronger spear, which doesn't really matter in this run because we're not going to use it for the last fights at all, unless it's more convenient. But if things go well, we don't have to use it. Dialogue here. And quest finishes, and then we head back to Meridian where the last two quests takes place. So back in Meridian, we're going to do the Derval quest first, because Derval, the guy that captured Aaron's sister, is now going to attack Meridian because he wants revenge on the Sun King. Always forget why he exactly wants revenge, but he wants revenge. So we're going to prevent that, and after that is done, we can start the final quest, because then we have completed all 3 of the main quest lines that then activates the final quest. So first we have to go to the palace and talk to everybody there, like the Sun King, Marad, and Aaron. That starts the quest. And then we're gonna head over to a warehouse on the other side of the city, where we hopefully are gonna get what is known as Blaze Skip. Which is, you could either call it a random skip or a really hard skip. Because it's basically 2 frame perfect inputs back to back. So some would say it's either random if you get it, or some would say, oh, it's frame perfect input. It's just a matter of pressing the button at the right time. A little debatable what you want to call it.
I'll meet
Aaron, take hours. When we, but you would. Is it fine? We will.
Alright, here, then we're gonna fast travel to the other side of Meridian, where the warehouse is, where we're gonna do Blaze Skip. And Blaze Skip basically just saves 20 seconds of dialogue. If you don't know the game, you probably won't even notice if you get it. Because you probably don't realize the dialogue is there. But hopefully we can get it, because at my last time I did a Horizon 1 at ESA, I got Blaze Skip. So hopefully I can get 2 for 2 here. But it's definitely not a given that you're gonna get it. So we'll see here. So once you get to the warehouse, you want to jump upstairs. And then you can see there's a triangle input here. It's going to be active for just about a frame or 2 here, where you can press triangle. And I got the first part. Then we had to hit the second one here on the barrels. And we got it! 2 for 2. Nice. I guess I can do that in marathon runs. Alright. So it actually skipped 20 seconds of dialogue there, which is very nice because I also got that on my record, so not losing time. Even though I'm pretty sure we're not on... I actually don't know what pace I'm on. Could check the timer in a bit. Pretty sure it's not good pace. but oh well. Save time there. Like I said, there's 2 frame perfect inputs because the triangle prompts, they only flash for like a frame or 2 where you can press triangle. And if you hit them, both of them, then it's gonna start the cutscene immediately and skip the dialogue with Aaron. Like it did there. It's kind of hard to explain, or you probably don't realize it's a skip unless you have played the game yourself or memorized that exact sequence, I guess. Alright, so now for the Derval fight here. So first we're gonna kill Derval and 2 of his goons. And then there's gonna be 6 Glinthawks we have to fight. Glinthawks are very annoying because they are very unpredictable. First we take care of Derval with a triple headshot. Then his goons, he's going down the stairs, that's really annoying. We have to go this way around for the other guy. Because there's one down each staircase. As soon as this guy dies though, the Glinthawks are gonna spawn in. Go. Alright, so the Glinthawks here, you want to set them on fire, because that makes them fall down when they set on fire like this. And that means you can use bombs to take them out. Where's the other guy? He's just not gonna fall down today. Because sometimes Glinthawks, even though you set them on fire and they're supposed to fall down, they're not gonna do it. They do whatever they please, I guess. Derval is just gonna praise them, even though these Glinthawks are just the worst machines in this game. Because sometimes, like you saw there, sometimes you set them on fire and they still don't fall down. You also can try to hit their bellies instead of hitting them on fire. That way they explode and freeze. But going for their bellies is kinda tough. Also, a thing about Glinthawks, if you either set them on fire or freeze them while they are grounded, like this. Okay, not that guy, but sometimes when you do it, or most of the time when you do it, that was actually a good Glinthawk find, by the way, that can go a lot worse. Sometimes when you set them on fire or freeze them, they're just not gonna fall down. Especially when they're grounded, they're just not gonna get the effect of the fire at all. So you definitely want to prefer hitting them while they're mid-air, or actually flying around. So now we are done with Derval's quest there. And that means we can go immediately into the last quest, because a nice thing in this game is when you complete the Derval quest as the last main quest, it throws you immediately into the last quest of the game. Because they just kind of tie together, like that. But most casual playthroughs I've seen, people tend to complete the Derval quest way earlier in their playthrough.
Panic in the city will only create another enemy.
Gonna set up a weapons here while Marat talks.
And do keep me
Then we're gonna head into the final quest here.
Word bot. So other
That's done. Good. Final fast travel pack we need. Because we fast travel back into Meridian, because now we need to go to sleep in order to start the quest. Or in order to get into the final quest. It's technically started. And the last quest has 3 parts to it. First we have to kill Helis, the leader of the Eclipse. Then we do Ridge defense. And then the final battle against Hades himself. Or a Deathbringer that's protecting Hades.
Empty.
And if you have not played this game, you probably don't know who any of these are. But like I said, it takes a while to explain the entire story. Especially when you only have 2 hours to do so. Right here, there's an unskippable cutscene here. We have to watch this, because, again, I'm sure they are hiding a lot of loading behind this cutscene. So that's why we can't skip it. But the thing here with Helis, which is the first fight we do here after the cutscene, is he has a lot of goons, but Helis is the only one we have to kill in order to progress. So what we want to do is go close to him and freeze him, and then do as much damage as we can while he's still frozen. Because he also staggers while he's frozen and can't block your attacks. Helis is really annoying because he can block arrows. So that's why you want him to stagger while you do a lot of damage. Sometimes, if you have really good coils or hit really good shots on him, you might be able to kill him solely with freezing him. But that's pretty tough in any percent run. It's pretty easy in New Game Plus, because your weapon's pretty good there. But in this run, it's going to be a little tougher. So what we want to do is do as much damage as possible while he's frozen, and then we want him to chase us down the staircase, where there's a lot of blaze we can then blow up next to him. And also we're gonna be very careful with our health here, because like I said, there's a lot of goons next to Helis, and they can also do a good amount of damage. Also, Helis uses fire bombs. So if he hits you with a firebomb, you have to get out of the fire, because fire does a ton of damage if you stand in the middle of it. So there's a lot of things you have to be really looking out for in this fight. And right here is Helis with the upskirt shot. Very intimidating.
No.
And here ends the cutscene, and we're gonna head straight into the fight.
No,
We need those guns.
he will cut you down.
Not this time.
Alright.
You have vexed me.
Alright, so Helis is right up the staircase here. He's gonna be standing right here in the middle. Start freezing him here. It's gonna take like 3 bombs. We managed to do it before he...
Why do you fight?
Oh, I missed. This is really bad. Yeah, he's blocking my shots now.
Blocked again.
Yeah, you can see he's blocking my shots, so now we have to rely on these explosions. It's gonna stagger a bit from the fire. I can do a little bit of damage before he moves down the staircase. Come on.
Giving way.
Make sure he doesn't have a light of sight on me, so I can hit him down. Come on, you know you want to get down here. Trying to dodge all his goons as well.
One who will take you down.
Too early. Ah. Right. Yeah, fucked up that fight pretty badly there. It's very important you do enough damage while he's frozen, because otherwise, like you see,
Giving way.
you can't really do much. Good thing there's a checkpoint in the middle of this fight, so you can see he's already down to half health. Let's just freeze him again.
The one who will take you down.
You can see right there he staggers, but he also moves while he's staggering, especially his head. Okay, I just can't aim at all. It's like 7 in the morning. Apparently aiming is just not something I'm capable of. There we go, he's dead. Okay, because I'm very low on health, I'm gonna get these safety potions over here before heading into Ridge. Might as well. Play it safe now. Alright, so next part here is Ridge defense. Right here you have to use an Oseram cannon, which is basically a cannon that does a ton of damage. You would know about it if you have done a specific side quest in the game that for some reason is not a main quest, which doesn't really make much sense. But you use this cannon and then we have to take out a herd of machines here. The first thing here is the Deathbringer here. There's gonna be 4 Deathbringers here. You can see the Deathbringer is scripted to shoot at the gate behind me before he starts attacking me, so I can do a lot of damage before he actually starts shooting at me, and preferably kill him here before he shoots a second time. Then other enemies are gonna spawn in. That was a miss on that one. There's a Scrubber from the back, he's dead. Now we need to focus on this Ravager here, because we need to kill them in order to spawn the next wave. And Ridge defense here is very tricky, because it's literally like a 5 minutes of just pure fighting, so you have to be pretty accurate and pretty concentrated throughout this entire flank. This is one of the hardest parts of the entire run, is to be able to do Ridge defense really fast here. Again, this Deathbringer is scripted to not shoot at you for a while here, so we can actually kill this guy, hopefully, before he starts shooting at us. Yeah, he's gone. And take out the Scrubbers before they get close. You want to take out the Scrubbers there, because they are gonna attack the other guys that are helping you in this fight. And you want those guys to be helping you and not fighting some Scrubbers. So you definitely want to take out the Scrubbers before they get too close. And the waves kind of tie together. You want to kill them in order to spawn the next wave. Especially in the first half, because one wave just comes after the other. Like that. And the long leg here, and that's the end of the first round. There we go. And right here, while there's a break here, we set up our weapons for the Hades fight. That is after. That is right after a Ridge defense here. Gonna pick up some potions, heal up. before the second part spawns in. Then we're gonna start firing over here. We want to fire a little early here to hopefully take out some trees that might be in the way. But the Death Ring already spawned in and did a good amount of damage on the first shot. For this guy, we want to keep firing at this guy until the other machines get close. If the other machines get close, we want to switch our focus to them. But I didn't manage to kill that guy before these guys got close, so we need to focus on these guys, because again, they can take away your health from the other platforms. It's really annoying when the Death Ring is still alive, because he's gonna fire at you and I'm stuck. Okay, I get hit, so I'm not stuck anymore. Alright, Death Ring is down. You can see the guys there killed the Death Ringer, because they're actually helping now. Right here, I wait for the 4 Glinthawks to spawn in. Also, you don't want to... You can see the Glinthawks are already spawned in. You don't want to shoot them too early, because they can glitch out. If you shoot them... If you manage to hit them as soon as they spawn, they kind of glitch out. And they're not gonna fly towards you. So you don't want to shoot them too early as well there. And hit that guy by shooting the rock behind him. Then once that Glinthawk is dead, this Death Ringer is gonna spawn in. And once again, just like the other Death Ringer, we want to keep firing at this guy, hopefully killing him before the other guys get close. Can't really see his health bar, but usually you can fire 5 times before the... You can see the Corruptor there gets close. And focus on clearing all the small machines. Because the Death Ringer right now doesn't matter. Because clearing all the small machines is gonna spawn in the last enemy, which is the Stormbird. So you want to clear them first before you start focusing on the Death Ringer again. Because you can see now the Stormbird is spawned in and flying towards us. And the Death Ringer is dead. Now we want to fire at the Stormbird here. Hopefully he's not gonna... That's a good shot. And he should be dead. Yeah. That was a really good bridge defense. Sadly, I'm really low. I don't have any health potions. That's gonna be pretty bad here for the ending. Well, we'll make do. There are some backup potions I can pick up along the way for the final fight. Again, this cutscene is unskippable, because I assume the game is loading something, or it's loading in the final fight. The final fight is, it's pretty much a Deathbringer, but it's a corrupted Deathbringer, so it's the toughest of all the Deathbringers we have fought in this run. And just like the one at Gravelord, we want to shoot off one of its guns, and hopefully it's going to drop one of its guns. Sadly, the last Deathbringer is not guaranteed to drop one, because then we're going to use it against him. And once he drops the gun, we also want to set him on fire to get him to overheat, so we can get a lot more weak spots to shoot at. So the plan is to shoot off a gun, then set him on fire, and then pick up the gun and clear out all the weak spots he has. By the way, this is Tep, the guy I was talking about earlier. My personal fan theory is he's going to be the villain in the second game. And yes, I have a very comprehensive reason for why that is. I actually have 2 big health potions, so... Okay. I'm still gonna pick up the backup. Why not? Play it safe. Let's not risk it. Especially because the backups, it takes like 2 seconds to pick them up. I don't think I'm in a position to where I want to be greedy here. Especially not when I lose health to the long leg. Now we just have to get up to where the final fight is there, get through all the wreckage. Get through the water here, and one thing I actually hadn't explained throughout this run is you want to turn the camera to manipulate your mount spawn. Because the camera always spawns off screen, so that's why you'll probably notice throughout the run I'm turning the camera specific ways to manipulate where I want the mount to spawn. But yeah, I haven't really explained that until now, so... Skip that cutscene, then we head into final fight here. Final climb here, and then the Deathbringer fight will take place.
I have to get up there.
And I really hope he drops one of his guns, because I had a practice run this weekend where he did not drop a single gun, which is, I will say it's a rarity, but it does happen, and that just makes the fight really annoying to deal with. Because you can shoot off all 3 of his guns, and he's not going to drop any of them. It's not guaranteed, but it is likely he's going to do it. So, let's hope he does.
We're back. Right.
Back one here. Potions. So you can see it literally took me under 2 seconds to pick those up. There's no reason to get greedy if you are low on health potions. And climb over here, and we enter the final fight here. So like I said, we want to fire off one of his guns here, so we just want to pile on damage to one of his guns. Did he drop? No. Did not drop the first one. So we have 2 more options. We just want to keep hitting this one. That one dropped. Alright, so like I said, now we want to set him on fire to get him to overheat. Don't want him to go over the gun, please. Okay. Alright, so now you can see, since he's overheated, he's gonna expose these small weak spots here. Heal up. And if we do this fight really well, we can kill him before other machines spawn in to defend him. Right. The gun is stunned, so now we just need one to keep piling on this weak spot. We can also set him on fire here again to get him to expose more weak spots that we can fire up. Okay, the other machines are spawning, and he's dead. And time is gonna be as soon as I hit that one. There. Ah, and that's up to 20. Alright. Not the best run ever, but it's fine. I'll take it. It's a marathon run after all. So yeah, that's the run over. Quite below estimate still, because there's a lot of things that can lose a lot of time. And gotta be honest, wasn't too confident about this run, because I was expecting to get really bad RNG. But still quite below estimate, so we'll have some good time to show off the flying mount glitch, which we have to do. So yeah, so let's skip the cutscenes here. We can skip the final cutscene, or you can skip it immediately.
Okay, Gaia.
So while this cutscene is playing, I guess I'll take the time to first of all thanks everybody for watching and donating to ESA. And I also want to thank everybody in the Horizon community who has contributed to the run and made it what it is today, because it's gone quite a long way since I started running this game over 2 years ago. So it's really nice to see how much faster we can keep pushing the game, and yeah, looking forward to push it even further. And lately there's been a lot of new, or been a couple of new runners joining the community, which is always exciting. So that's very nice. We have tutorials and stuff for anybody interested that want to get into Horizon speedrunning. So yeah, and yeah, we met the incentive for the flying mount glitch, so that's gonna be shown off now. Skip this credits and cutscenes here. Yeah, I'll take my time. And also, I would like to thank everybody who is in my personal community. You guys are awesome. You make running this game so much more fun, because we just have a lot of fun on my stream whenever I do run. So everyone in my personal community, I want to thank you guys, because you guys are awesome. And I'm looking forward to do a lot more runs and hopefully see a lot of new faces there. So definitely check out my stream if you're interested. Once I get home from ESA, I'm gonna start pushing all the ultra hard categories again. So if you're interested in seeing this game on its hardest difficulty, check out my stream. Anyway, let's find a save file we can use to get this glitch. So yeah, I'm gonna use my New Game Plus save file for this. So a lot of people always say to me that they really wish there was a way to fly in this game on a mount, and everybody wants to see that in the sequel. But there actually is a way to fly. Granted, it's not intended, but there's a pretty somewhat easy way you can do it. And I'm gonna try my best to explain how you can pull it off, so you guys can try it yourself. So first let's load up a save file here. There's a couple of things you need to set up this glitch. So loading screen here. Oh, yeah. There's not a lot of things you need actually, it's only a few things. So first we need a specific weapon. I prefer using the warbow. You just need a weapon that has the shock ability, so you can stun a mount. Because you need to stun a mount in this. And then on the map here, you want to go to Bright Market here, which is this village. It's called Bright Market. It's just to the northwest of Meridian. And then the campfire right below Bright Market is where you want to go. And also just to prove, I haven't mentioned it during the run, but we play on the current patch. So just so you can see it there, it's patch 1.52, which is the current patch of the game. So this glitch is still in the game. They have not patched this out. On patch 1.0, if you have a disk version, you can do this glitch in a lot more places and in a lot of different ways. There's a lot more glitches on 1.0. So if you have a disk version, you can try it out there, but obviously the problem with patch 1.0 is the game crashes like every 20 minutes, so it's not worth playing on. But there's some fun things you can do there. So now the thing we want to do to get the glitch is we want one of these chargers to chase us into Bright Market. Because remember, we cannot get a mount inside a settlement, but if we get a machine like the charger here, which can be turned into a mount if we override it, if you get one of them to chase us into a village, we can then stun it and override it inside the village, allowing us to have a mount inside the village. There we go, now he's inside the settlement here. Just a little bit further to be safe. Come on. Alright, so now we use a shock arrow to stun him. And as soon as he falls down, you can override him. So now I'm inside a settlement, and I'm overriding him inside the settlement. So now I have a mount inside a village. This is how you get a mount inside a village. Now the next thing you want to do, in order to get the flying mount glitch, is to head to the back side of the village here. Let me just show it on the map. It's the very high house here at the far right end of the village you want to head to. And then once you get to this spot here, you want to slow down, because in my experience it works a lot better if you slow down. Then you want to head slowly up the staircase you see right in front of me here. It is pretty slow, but when I tried it just works a lot easier when you do it slowly. And then you just want to simply walk through this wall. The mount is just going to walk through it. He should take a step upwards here into this house, like that. And then right through this wall, so you get on the balcony, and now you're flying. So, and you are going to keep this height. There's no way to gain or lose height with this glitch. But with the current patch, that is the easiest one to pull off. And it's also the one, luckily it's also the one where you get the most height. It varies a little bit in terms of how much height you get. But as you can see, once you get over the cliff here, you are actually pretty far up. And you can fly over Meridian if you want to. I especially recommend for anybody who is really into like photo mode stuff in this in video games to, if you use this glitch and photo mode combined, you can get some pretty cool shots by of certain places in the game from an angle you would not be able to achieve normally. And yeah, I mean, this is the flying mount glitch. There's not really much else to say about it. You're just riding around. Like I said, there are a few other places you can do this. I'm not that good at the other places because those are way more inconsistent. And like I said, the skip or the glitch I did there, it's not 100% consistent. Sometimes when you walk through the door, he's not going to take that step up, and sometimes it's going to clip you under the map instead. So you can also use this glitch to get under the map, but that's not as cool because you can't really move anywhere under the map. But as you can see, you can just ride around. Fun thing to anybody who uses this glitch: go to a place where there's a Stormbird and try to fight the Stormbird while you're on the mount. Because a fun thing is Guerrilla Games that made this game. They obviously didn't program the Stormbird to have any attacks that goes upwards. So if you attack him from above, he can't do anything. So that's a little fun way you can fight him if you want to. Because he has no way of fighting back. Also, people are probably also wondering what happens if you get off. You fall to the ground. So let's get off right here. Let's control the fall so we don't die. The mount stays in the air. He stays up there until he's dead. We can even shoot him until he's not a mount anymore. There we go. Now he's not a mount because we shot him a bunch of times. And he's just gonna stay up there until he dies. If he dies, he's gonna ragdoll to the ground. And also, if you're still on your mount, and wants to get down from there, all you have to do is hit some sort of thing. Like if you hit a hitbox, he's gonna fall down to the ground as well. So where you can drop the hide. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of people will have fun with this glitch. Yeah, I don't really have much more to say about it. I can just prove here what happens if you shoot him, he falls to the ground like that. But yeah, have some fun with the flying mount glitch, and yeah, hopefully you can find some uses for it. Just want to say it's not useful in the speedruns because it's not consistent, and as you saw, it takes a long time to set up. So, and also with the way quest works in this game, you can't really skip necessarily anything. So that's that. But yeah, I'll thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, enjoy the rest of ESA. I believe you have a cool Metal Gear Solid run coming up. So yeah, thanks for watching.